Hello and welcome! Today I'm sharing with you our family's recipe for Mama's Italian lasagna. This is the recipe that my mom always made when I was growing up, and to me it's just as good as it gets. We'll make a homemade tomato sauce and layer it in perfect ratios with lasagna noodles, ricotta cheese, and mozzarella. And I'll even throw in my own little personal spin. This is definitely comfort food. So if you're ready to make the best Italian lasagna, stick around. I'm going to show you how we make Mama's Italian lasagna. We're going to start with our homemade sauce. Get a large pot heated over medium-high heat, and we will add 1 pound of Italian sausage. You can use bulk sausage, or if your sausage comes in casings, just remove it. And then we're going to break up our sausage as it starts to brown. Once our sausage is all broken apart and partially cooked, we will add in our onions. We're going to add half of an extra large onion chopped up. And we'll continue to let that cook until our meat is fully browned and our onions have started to soften. Next, we'll add in 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. And we'll give that a stir, letting it continue to cook 1 minute longer. Once our garlic is nice and fragrant, we're ready to add in the rest of our ingredients. We'll add 3 6-ounce cans of tomato paste, four and a half cups of water, a half a teaspoon of dried basil, and a few dashes of salt and pepper to taste. Now we'll give that a stir, help break down that tomato paste, and let our sauce come up to a simmer. Then we'll cover our sauce and let it continue simmering for at least a half an hour. Meanwhile, we'll get the rest of our ingredients ready. Bring a large pot of water to a boil and boil a package of lasagna noodles until they're al dente. And then we'll drain our noodles and set them aside. Next, we'll prep our ricotta cheese. We're going to use 1 pound of ricotta cheese. To that, we will add 2 eggs and a half a tablespoon of dried parsley. And we'll whisk that all together real quick. And we'll set her aside. Okay, so our sauce has been simmering around 30 minutes. Of course, you can let it simmer longer. Really, the longer the better. But I find I just don't usually have a lot of time. So 30 minutes is about all I have patience for. And quite frankly, it turns out great. So now that our sauce is ready, we are able to assemble our lasagna. We'll take a 9 by 13 baking dish and we'll grease it with some olive oil. And then we'll spoon a few ladles of sauce in the bottom of our pan to create a thin layer. Next, we'll layer in our noodles. I like to use about 5 noodles per layer. Then we'll top that with 1/3 of our ricotta cheese mixture. And 1/3 of our mozzarella cheese. We'll be using a total of 1 pound of shredded mozzarella. And then we'll top that with some of our delicious homemade sauce. We'll continue our layering, and in this middle layer, if you'd like to add a little variation, this is when I like to do that. I like to add a layer of veggies sometimes to my lasagna. My mom's traditional recipe does not call for a vegetable layer, but I like to work those veggies in wherever and whenever I can. So the middle layer here is where I like to do this. So on top of our ricotta in this middle layer, I'm gonna add some frozen spinach, which has been thawed, and I've squeezed it to remove the excess moisture. Now I'm just gonna put this on half of our lasagna for today, so I'm using about 4 to 5 ounces of frozen spinach. Sometimes some of us are in the mood for no veggies, the traditional lasagna, and that's okay too. So I'm gonna leave half of it just original. Other veggies I sometimes like to use would be sliced zucchini, which if you use that, I recommend that you pre-cook them first, again, to release some of that excess moisture, and you could just layer that on there just like we did with the spinach. So we'll continue finishing up our 3rd layer now with our noodles. The last of our ricotta cheese mixture. Last of our mozzarella cheese. And then we'll cover it all with the rest of our homemade Italian sausage sauce. I like to use the sauce a bit more sparingly in the first 2 layers so that I have enough at the top layer to really give it a good coating. Now we have just one last thing to add. We are going to use a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese to top this all off. And then that is it. We are ready to bake this at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. And here she is. Our lasagna is done. Our sauce was bubbling in the oven. Our cheese is melted and slightly browned on top. Oh, it smells so good. Get yourself a nice big slice and you're ready to dig in. And that is it. Now you know how to make one of our family's favorites, Mama's Italian lasagna. This recipe makes about 10 servings, so it's enough for the whole family, and it's always a crowd pleaser. I hope your family enjoys this recipe as much as ours does. Please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell for notifications on all of our future videos. See you next time!